Team score now 20-6 in favor of Virginia Tech, so they've clinched the duel. So they don't have a penalty or something funky like that. On to 149, Christian Monserrat for West Virginia. Their only undefeated wrestler in duels this year, 4-0 in duels, 8-3 overall. Ryan Blees, 4-6, redshirt senior from Bismarck, North Dakota, on the mat for the Hokies. Blees transferred from Oklahoma State 2 years ago, so a guy that knows the Big 12 scene pretty well. NCAA qualifier last year as the 12 seed, but has struggled a bit this year. As I mentioned, 4-6, 0-3 in duels. Monserrat leading this team in scoring. He's put up 13 points in duels. Mentioned he had the one win against Pitt on Saturday, 4-0 over Robert Lee. I think you hit it exactly right, Tony. The most consistent wrestler for the Mountaineers this year, Christian Monserrat. And that's what you expect from your most experienced guy, your redshirt senior. That's what you hope to get.
No, you're exactly right. You want that. You know, he's not a guy that's going to blow a lot of people out necessarily, but he's been very consistent, and he's, you know, they haven't been like 1-point wins most of the time. He's won by 3-4 points.
Well, and the score against Lee tells you, and that's a ranked wrestler that he shut out, you know, so you know he's playing good defense and, like you said, making good decisions and not putting himself in a situation where he's going to give up points. Also tells you that he's been effective on top. So not allowed to escape.
Exactly right. And he's able to get off the bottom.
Yeah.
Obviously, right? You can't win 4-0 and stay on the bottom. So. Trying to circle back in. Blees was kind of blocking him a little bit there. And Blees has that nice underhook, and you can see Monserrat a couple of different times has tried to circle over the top and sort of cut in there, and he hasn't been able to do it.
Back to the middle with 45 seconds left here in the first period. Next to last bout here, we'll finish at 157. Hokies took the first 5. Mountaineers have taken 2 out of 3 since the break. Both in exciting fashion. Joey Thomas in overtime and Luke Martin just a match ago.
That was a nice little scramble there. It was what looked like to be a pretty good shot by Blees. Monserrat sort of countered and disappeared on him real quick, and Blees was off balance. Monserrat does a nice job of just turning, hipping into him slightly, and knocks him down in order to almost had a near fall on top of it. It gets a 2-point takedown with only about 20 seconds left in the period.
And rode for 22 did Christian Monserrat. And we'll begin the second period on the bottom. Monserrat's takedown right there, you see. Caution there from Jay Cox.
Nice job.
Escapes in 4 seconds.
You really increase your chances of winning if you spend very little time on the bottom. There's not a lot of good things happen to you down there. In some ways, this may sound a little strange, but it's sort of like thinking about generating offense, even though you're in technically a bit of a defensive position, right? So whether you're looking for reversals or you're looking to attack in terms of, it's figuring out how to attack. I get an escape and I attack. And it's sort of developing a different mentality about that.
Right, because if you're escaping, the other guy's mentally it's like, oh man, I just gave up a point, and maybe you have a couple seconds there where they're not quite as focused, and you can make something happen.
You can make something happen. So it's really figuring out how to have a sort of an opportunistic, attack-oriented mentality, regardless of where you're at in the mat, even if you're on the bottom. Monserrat might have had that shot if he'd have taken it. It was a nice fake, and Blees really didn't respond to it all that well. Nice job. Hey, it's nice to watch him mix sides a little bit and mix things that you're going at.
Well, and you talked about adjustments that veteran guys make throughout Master Virginia Tech. That's what Monserrat's doing right now, varying his attacks, trying some different things, seeing what's going to work. And he will take a 3-0 lead to the third period.
Spend some time on top.
Already has 18 seconds in his favor, so.
So a pretty good formula for winning. You get a takedown, you get out real fast, and you ride the guy out. You can win 4-0 a lot of times.
Yes.
And your coach is never going to complain. Unless they really, really need you to score some bonus points. And then they might like you to open some things up a little bit, but.
Not the case here, though.
No.
Monserrat can do what he needs to do to get a win for himself.
Blees, really nice job of getting right back to his feet, though. Going to get warned for stalling. There's going to be a warning. Got to be the warning. There it comes.
Maybe.
But to some degree, you take it to some degree, right? Because you're still on top. Now, you don't want to give up that second one, but this one allows you to stay on top a little bit. So if you know the second one's coming, you might cut them loose. So you're up to a minute, slightly over a minute, minute 1 in riding time, with 1:18 left in the period. So you can spend a little more time up there, but you don't want to give up that next stall warning. And Blees helping him here. Trying to reach down and peel that hand out from the crotch, because that's sort of a pry that Monserrat's using now. This time he cannot give up. He cannot give up the warning for stalling. He comes back up, but he doesn't give up the warning. You can see Jake Hawks starting to count because he's down on the leg. You know, several years ago, people used to do that all the time, and I'm glad they don't let them do that anymore. We're gonna have a caution because he didn't line up right.
Jake Hawks is gonna explain that with a smile.
Well, Blees knows your hand goes in front of the line and your knees go behind. I mean, it doesn't stop people from trying to cheat it, though, right? It doesn't stop people from doing that.
He's done it a few hundred times in his career.
Yeah, maybe once or twice. Blees is doing a nice job of keeping moving, and Monserrat has been floating and just like you do the drill when you're warming up about how to ride and keeping your hip tight and floating from side to side and sort of cutting them off on the other side, and he's been doing that. Blees going to try to turn in hard this time, though, and he's got an opportunity to get himself out at least. Monserrat's still on top. There's only 15 seconds left in the period and 2 minutes of riding time, so you know what you have right now, don't you? You got a 4-0 decision so far, right? We got 10 seconds left. Stays on top for another 10 seconds.
Like you said, Blees has really worked hard and done some good things in the bottom, but Monserrat's held tight, not let him go, and really wrestled a strong match.
Oh, there he lets out the escape. So instead of being 4-0, it's going to probably end up 4-1. Ooh, there's some haymakers.
Got a stoppage with 1 second left.
All right.
Don't do anything stupid here is the message. And he backs up, exactly. So a 4-1 win for Christian Monserrat. Now 5-0 in the year in duels. Continuing a very strong redshirt senior campaign. And We'll head to the last match. Zachary Moore for the Mountaineers. BC LaPrade for Virginia Tech. Mountaineers, after a year with the first 17 points, have won 3 out of the last 4.